Well, new data released this week shows that not only is inflation rising, but it is not growing faster than wages for the first time since 2023. And this comes at a time when credit card debt in the U.S. has reached a staggering $1.3 trillion. That is trillion with a T. And what compounds that debt is the average interest rate on credit cards is between 21 and 28%, depending on the person's credit score. So joining us now is Bruce McClary with the DC-based National Foundation for Credit Counseling. Sir, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us.
Thanks for having me on the program.
Of course, and we look forward to your advice here because let's just talk about big picture, what your organization is seeing in terms of people and debt.
Well, we're seeing a lot of the same things that you're talking about. We're seeing a significant increase in revolving debt activity. In fact, revolving debt spending earlier in the year increased by 9%. And when you're talking about people putting credit debt, revolving debt from month to month and carrying balances at the rates that you mentioned earlier, it places an extra financial burden on households that they just can't afford right now when it's very difficult to keep up with affordability. There's a gap between people's income and the marketplace prices that people have to pay for things like groceries and gas. And so people are finding it harder and harder to keep up. And so what's happening is, and what's driving a lot of that credit card spending is this gap fill approach that many households are having to take, where they're using their available credit to fill the gap that their incomes just can't fill in household spending from month to month. And they're carrying those balances over into the next month at these high interest rates. And it just compounds the problem. So a lot of people are just trying to kick the can down the road. And the concern right now is that people who are in that cycle using their available credit as a gap fill are so focused on the act of kicking the can down the road that they can't see where the road ends and how close they are to that point.
And suddenly you just have a massive debt in front of you, loaded up, just trying to meet the basic needs. Because you're talking about just making it month to month, meeting the basics there. Are you hearing that they're pointing more to one particular factor over another that has pushed them into debt right now?
Well, broadly, it's just the fact that income can't keep up with the cost of living. So it's been a steady roll. But right now, I think most people are just saying that it's difficult because certain prices at the grocery store are going up, certain prices for consumer goods are going up. The auto loans are a big problem as well. I mean, we've seen some of the data on auto loans, and increasingly the monthly car payments and auto financing, it's placing an extra significant burden on households right now. And, in many cases that having a car is a necessity because it gets you to the job that gives you the ability to earn income and pay your bills. So, it's one of those things that's causing a lot of pressure on households. So it's coming at people from all sides, I guess, is the point that I'm trying to make.
Yeah. What are some of the biggest mistakes, Bruce, that you see when people try to handle their debt, that some of the biggest mistakes they make when they try to do that?
Yeah, I think, well, when people are in trouble and they're starting to fall behind, it can be tempting to try to find the quickest or easiest solution, but sometimes that's not always the best thing for your circumstances. And so there are a lot of people who are falling for these offers for debt relief that are promising things that can't realistically be delivered, and they're spending money on these services, and they're not making their situations better, but they're making their situation worse. And there are also all kinds of scams out there. So I think the mistake of being in a hurry to jump at the first solution that sounds the best is getting people into trouble, because right now there are a lot of debt relief scams. There are people who are out there taking advantage of folks who are trying to fix issues on their credit report or to get out of debt and settle their debts. And it's important to at least take a moment for yourself to find a legitimate source of help and to check them out before sharing your personal financial information or even paying them for a service that they're promising.
Of course, people desiring to clean up that debt after the fact. What about when it comes to prevention? There's a lot of tough choices right now before families trying to make ends meet. What would you suggest before you end up with a huge debt?
Yeah, communication is one of your best resources, and not a lot of people proactively reach out and have a conversation with their creditors. So if you see that you're in trouble, if you see that you're heading for some difficulty managing the debt that you owe, pick up the phone and talk to your credit card company and give them some information about the circumstances that you're facing. And do it before you start missing a payment or two or three. And there are options that they might be able to deploy that can keep you from falling behind and keep you from missing payments, which can be very consequential. It can drive your credit score down. It can create problems if you want to go out and borrow money in the future. So it's always good to proactively communicate with your creditors and work together to try to find solutions that can prevent you from falling behind in the first place.
Such good advice there, very practical. And you mentioned being wary of scams. If you're trying to get help, of course, that would be top of mind. And your organization does help people dealing with debt. Talk about some of the support that's available.
Yes, the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, nfcc.org, is a great place to go to work with a nonprofit credit counselor and to sit with that person and have a review of your finances, talk about your biggest challenges, and work together to find practical, realistic pathways to get over the things that are causing problems and to get past those. And the initial session is free, so there's no upfront cost. And you can get some really good advice from your counselor and some good help in overcoming some of those financial challenges. And if you're already past due and you're facing late fees and debt collection calls, your counselor can work out a plan that can help you get back on track and benefit from reduced interest rates and lower monthly payments and get out of debt faster and restore your credit and get back on sound footing when it comes to your finances. So nonprofit credit counseling agencies are a great resource. I would encourage people to use them if they think trouble is ahead, but also if they've already run into trouble, and work with a counselor to try to find solutions.
Those financial challenges can feel overwhelming, and they don't have to be. Bruce McClary with the DC-based National Foundation for Credit Counseling, thank you so much for sharing those great tips and resources with us here this afternoon.
Thank you.
All right, take care and stay with us because we will